Because at the end of the day, no one cares about excuses. It doesn't matter if the excuse is real or if you genuinely were unwell or injured or anything. No one cares.
And I wanted to fight, but I took the doctors and my dad's and my team's advice, and we pulled out of the fight.
It's harsh. It is.
Your voice just broke when you said that.
Yeah, it is harsh, but it's not untrue. It's a real difficult one because I'll never want to disrespect someone that steps in the ring and has a fight and puts themselves in harm's way. And you have a right to be able to kind of look after yourself and protect yourself, especially now with Daniel. I think he's a dad now as well, so there's more consideration there. But the boxing community as a whole, they want you to live by the sword and die by the sword and go out on the shield kind of thing. And if you deviate from that in the slightest, they are quick on you and just, like you say, call you.
Daniel's not feeling well, so I went up. That's the first time I discovered that the boxer was not well. And then lo and behold, the doctors were called. Two independent doctors came and read their findings to us, and
that it actually was officially signed. Both of them prepared long and hard for it. So when I heard that Daniel Dubois ill, immediately I think he's not fighting. So there was a statement that went out saying he was with doctors, he'd be assessed, and then a further statement or something would be made. I knew there and then when I hear a fighter's.
Boxing pros are reacting strongly to the financial damage and wasted preparation after Daniel Dubois pulled out at the last moment. Frank Warren explained how entire camps collapse with huge losses, but critics are now focusing on Dubois' pattern of late pullouts, with Joseph Parker fights also being referenced as past examples of pressure situations where questions were raised about his consistency and reliability at elite level.
He's a big fight, he's trained very hard. If you don't fight, you don't get paid. You imagine the cost involved in a training camp, booking places to set the camp up, bringing the sparring partners in, the nutritionists, the chefs, trainers and everybody, and you don't get paid. It's a massive loss. You can't insure it, or if you do, it costs a fortune to insure, but very, very disappointing.
Fabio Wardley does not hold back here as he openly talks about breaking opponents mentally and how he sees Daniel Dubois as someone who can be pushed into uncomfortable situations. Wardley is basically saying pressure brings out weakness, and if that happens early, it becomes a long night for Daniel Dubois. This adds serious psychological tension ahead of any potential clash between them.
If you're an opponent lining up for Fabio Wardley, you look at him and go, to make him quit, one, I don't know if it's possible, and two, if it is, it's going to be one hell of a challenge. With Daniel, you'll go into a fight with Daniel thinking, if I do some things right here, I've seen it not once, not twice, but 3, maybe even 4 times of him kind of tap out of the situation. So if that's in there, that's in there. You can get it. You can pull it out with someone. You just need to go about the right things to get it. So you're already giving your opponent a psychological advantage going into the fight, because whether you say, oh, no, I'm over it now, or I'm past it, or I'm not going to do it, well, evidence suggests that actually the opposite. So, yeah, it could be problematic.
Even Daniel Dubois' own sister Caroline Dubois does not hold back, openly criticizing him and saying excuses mean nothing in boxing. This hits even harder because it comes from inside his own family circle, showing how badly the pullout is being viewed. It adds massive pressure and embarrassment around Daniel Dubois at a time when the boxing world is already questioning his mentality and professionalism.
You realize the brutality of the sport. You realize how dangerous the sport is. You realize that no one really cares. They just care about a big fat knockout. And if it's Daniel lying on the floor, incapacitated, or his opponent.
Johnny Nelson comes in heavy, calling the situation pure foolishness and questioning the mindset behind such decisions. He is clearly frustrated, pointing out that elite boxing demands discipline and professionalism, not reckless thinking. His criticism adds more pressure on Daniel Dubois because it reinforces the idea that this is not just an injury issue, but a mentality problem that has no place at world-level boxing when big fights are on the line.
The source is good. The source is good. And so when I'm hearing these things, I'm like, nah. And so it's popping out left, right, and centre. The source is good. And so to me, I just shook my head. And when I'd heard all this,
Frank Warren describes complete chaos behind the scenes as the decision came very late, leaving everyone shocked and unprepared. From fighters to broadcasters, everyone is affected by the collapse of the bout. His words show how damaging the timing has been, especially for Fabio Wardley, who was fully prepared. This situation has turned into a major setback for the event and increased scrutiny on Daniel Dubois' withdrawal.
Speaks to the people direct and then make a decision if he's out.
Okay. When did you first learn about this, Frank?
Very late this afternoon,
Okay, so it's been a stressful day.
to say the least. For the fighters as well. It's a shame for the fighters, for everybody involved, TV companies, and more importantly for the fans. Riyadh season, you know, His Excellency, everybody involved with this. We're all gutted, but what can you do? That's
Johnny Fisher delivers a brutal assessment, questioning Daniel Dubois' overall skill level and consistency at elite stage. He suggests Dubois relies more on physical attributes than refined boxing ability, which becomes a serious concern at top level. Comments like this only add fuel to the criticism after the fight pull-out, making Dubois look increasingly exposed in a heavyweight conversation where confidence and performance both matter heavily.
You know, Daniel Dubois, he just can't really get right. You know, he has no real skill. Pretty durable chin. Heart is kind of questionable.
Frank Warren breaks down the real financial damage behind Daniel Dubois pulling out, explaining how months of preparation and huge camp expenses all go to waste when a fighter does not step in the ring. From sparring partners to nutritionists and full training setups, everything becomes a massive loss. This shows the seriousness of the situation, as it is not just about one fight falling apart but also about trust, planning and professionalism being questioned at elite-level boxing.
you know, he's a big fight. He's trained very hard. If you don't fight, you don't get paid. You imagine the cost involved in a training camp, you know, booking places to set the camp up, bringing the sparring partners in, the nutritionists, the chefs, trainers and everybody, and you don't get paid. It's a massive loss. You can't insure it, or if you do, you know, it costs a fortune to insure. But very, very disappointed.
The Wade Plemons raises serious concern about repeated issues, suggesting something deeper might be affecting Daniel Dubois physically or mentally. Even though he admits he is not a doctor, he still questions whether this could impact Dubois' long-term career. This kind of reaction adds more pressure on Dubois because now people are not just talking about one pull-out, but also worrying about whether his overall boxing future at elite level is becoming unstable.
He shouldn't be doing that, right? There he goes again. Now again, I'm no doctor, I don't know, but it does seem like that's a bit of an issue. And
Fabio Wardley reflects on early sparring sessions where Daniel Dubois was physically stronger and more experienced at the time, but still relied heavily on absorbing shots rather than defending smartly. This observation adds to the ongoing criticism around Dubois' defensive awareness and ring IQ. It also builds Wardley's confidence ahead of any future clash, as he suggests he has seen weaknesses in Dubois that could be exposed under real fight pressure.
Head on, wasn't really sure on how to ride a shot.
Liam Goff adds confusion around Daniel Dubois' situation, mentioning a possible ankle injury but admitting the details are unclear. This uncertainty has only made the situation more chaotic for fans and analysts trying to understand what really happened. With no confirmed explanation, speculation continues to grow around the timing and seriousness of the issue, making the last-minute pullout even more controversial in the boxing world.
Seeing that Atema suffered some sort of ankle injury, maybe I was just, seeing things with that one. But he is injured. It's not really specifying. I don't know why. I'm sure I saw it was ankle, but maybe not. Maybe I was just saying.
Duke McKenzie highlights Fabio Wardley's growth as a world champion, pointing out how confidence and experience have elevated his performances. He credits Wardley for consistently getting the job done in tough fights and becoming more complete since winning the title. At the same time, he acknowledges Daniel Dubois' jab as a key weapon, setting up a potential technical battle. This builds anticipation for a clash where small details like timing and jab control could decide everything.
Because Fabio Wardley's a world champion now in his own right. And that 5% I'm just talking to you about, he's 5% better now than what he was before he won the title, because that's what it gives you when you win a world title. Now, he's just beaten Joseph Parker, right? And messed him up quite badly. It wasn't an easy fight. It ebbed and flowed for periods in that fight, but ultimately, Wardley got the job done. That's what he does. He gets the job done. Look at his career. Now, he would have improved, and a lot is to be said of Daniel Dubois because he's got an excellent jab. That was the difference between him and AJ when they fought, was that jab. It was just beautiful. Wardley's got a good jab. And if Wardley's jab has improved since winning that title, then it's about...
The Wade Plemons breaks down a very technical side of Fabio Wardley's style, highlighting how he controls range using his lead hand and perfect timing. He explains how Wardley stays calm under pressure, always reacting to movement and punishing mistakes instantly. This kind of analysis shows why Wardley is becoming such a difficult heavyweight to solve, especially compared to fighters like Daniel Dubois who are more aggressive and less defensively disciplined in exchanges.
Frame with his lead hand, keep the distance, which he does such a good job of. If you move forward, he moves back. You cut an angle, he cuts an angle, right? He just mirrors what you do. And the moment you make a mistake or overcommit, he touches you with the lead hand, that's first line.
Ade Oladipo focuses on how Fabio Wardley has evolved into a more complete fighter since becoming world champion. He stresses that confidence and experience have lifted Wardley's performances, especially in tough fights where momentum shifts. The key takeaway is consistency, something Wardley now shows at elite level. This kind of mentality is exactly why many believe Wardley is more reliable under pressure compared to fighters who struggle to maintain control in difficult moments.
Have you guys ever sparred each other?
Yeah. Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah? How long ago? What are we talking?
7 years, 8 years maybe.
Do you both remember that? Mm-hmm. How did that sparring go? Not that that means anything come fight night. It's a long time ago. You're a different fighter. You're a different fighter. How did that go?
I went well, but in the early days, he got the better of me.
Yeah?
I'll say that. I got no problem with that whatsoever.
Do you remember those sparring?
Yeah, just like he said. He's come on since then now, so.
We've grown a lot since then for both parts. I'm nowhere near the fighter I was that many years ago. And in the fights he's had, he's grown and changed and adapted as well. Like, you have to. Like, if you want to stay at the high level of this game, that's what you have to do. But even in them, like you say, in those 7, 8 years I've changed, but not just that. Even in the last 2, 3 fights I've changed. I've grown, developed, got better, adjusted, changed, weathered storms, figured it out. Like, I've gone through milestones and you can watch them from fight to fight to fight, the adjustments I make. So all I'm proving is that I'm constantly learning.
The Wade Plemons breaks down a very technical side of Fabio Wardley's style, highlighting how he controls range using his lead hand and perfect timing. He explains how Wardley stays calm under pressure, always reacting to movement and punishing mistakes instantly. This kind of analysis shows why Wardley is becoming such a difficult heavyweight to solve, especially compared to fighters like Daniel Dubois who are more aggressive and less defensively disciplined in exchanges.
Privately, Daniel's father in particular, he recognized what I've done for Daniel and the father. And I too recognize what they done for me as a coach. So it's a mutual thing. Like I said, it was a sudden ending, and that doesn't sit well with me in the way that it ended. I haven't got this entitlement that I must be Daniel Dubois' coach.
No, fair enough.
But the timing of it, when 48 hours prior to me being dismissed, sacked, the conversations I was having with Daniel's father didn't suggest. No, that's the only thing that doesn't sit well with me. But like I said, I've digested it, I've acknowledged it, accepted it, processed it, and I've accepted it, and life.
Ade Oladipo focuses on how Fabio Wardley has evolved into a more complete fighter since becoming world champion. He stresses that confidence and experience have lifted Wardley's performances, especially in tough fights where momentum shifts. The key takeaway is consistency, something Wardley now shows at elite level. This kind of mentality is exactly why many believe Wardley is more reliable under pressure compared to fighters who struggle to maintain control in difficult moments.
Doctor examined him, give him some medication, but the medication he gave him obviously had to be checked.
The Wade Plemons breaks down a very technical side of Fabio Wardley's style, highlighting how he controls range using his lead hand and perfect timing. He explains how Wardley stays calm under pressure, always reacting to movement and punishing mistakes instantly. This kind of analysis shows why Wardley is becoming such a difficult heavyweight to solve, especially compared to fighters like Daniel Dubois who are more aggressive and less defensively disciplined in exchanges.